Sandra, I hear you have a really exciting topic for us today.
I do. All right. So, I work with a lot of older adults, and they often come in because they're losing muscle mass at an alarming rate. They're not feeling as strong as they once were, and they come to me for help. So I want to prevent that from happening to all of you.
All right. Well, I'm definitely all about that.
One of the first things I encourage these people to do is to start eating more food. So the government RDA, or the recommended dietary allowance for protein for older adults, is 0.8, but that's the same for you and I. But according to recent research, this may not be adequate to support optimal health in older adults. And it makes sense, right? Bodybuilders, they eat more protein to build more muscle mass. And if you're losing your muscle mass, which we do after the age of 30 each year, it makes sense that you would want to eat more protein to maintain that muscle mass.
Makes total sense.
Some experts suggest protein intake of 1 to 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day, which is a lot. It's like double what people are normally having. And they're also recommending that we consume animal protein versus a vegetarian source, because animal protein is more bioavailable, meaning that it's more readily available for our use. So the topic today is about eating enough. And I know we all succumb to diet head, thinking that eating less is more. But again, if you're over the age of 30, you are at risk of losing your muscle mass. And in order to build up muscle and maintain this, we do need to eat a balance of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So we're going to be talking about the signs and symptoms to watch out for if you're not eating enough calories.
All right, well, let's dive in. What's first?
All right, so energy levels. If you're not eating enough, you're going to feel tired all the time. So that's your body telling you that you're not supplying it with enough food to be energized.
I get that. What I want to know is how I not eat too much so that I get more muscle rather than fat.
I hear that a lot. Everyone's concerned about eating too much. And usually what I find is they're not eating enough of the right things and eating too much of the wrong things. There aren't any right or wrong foods, but a lot of times you'll see people consuming more refined carbohydrates and sweets when really they should be worrying about eating enough protein, vegetables, whole grains, or complex carbohydrates. So eat that first, and then if you have room for dessert or whatever, those are the kinds of calories that you can let go of if you don't want to gain weight. However, I just want to skip ahead to one of the signs and symptoms of not eating enough is that you're not able to lose weight. So a lot of people think if they eat less and continue to eat less and work out a lot, that they will lose weight. But if you start to eat more, your metabolism is going to increase a little bit, especially if you're working out and building muscle mass. You're going to increase your metabolism a lot more that way, and you'll find you'll lose weight by eating more.
Okay.
Which was very exciting. Okay, so backtracking a little bit, one of the first signs and symptoms if you're not eating enough is going to be anxiety and depression. So you might wake up in the middle of the night, your heart's racing, or you're just anxious. That's a big clue that you might be going through a more stressful period of time in your life and you need to eat more calories. If you just kind of have overall feelings of depression or just not feeling like yourself, animal studies with rats and mice do show that decreased calories over a period of time does reduce your mood.
Interesting. Anxiety is something I definitely struggle with.
So another one is cold hands and feet, or feeling cold all the time. I hear this a lot from a lot of my female friends and family members, and this again is related to metabolism. So just try to eat a little bit more in your day and notice if your furnace kind of revs up and you're warmer.
Good to know. My hands and feet are always cold.
All right, another scary symptom is your hair falls out. Right? You might notice thinning of your hair is not as thick and luxurious as it once was. A great fix for that is to eat more protein, maybe even double your protein for a couple months and notice what happens to your skin, your hair, and your nails. A lot of people will have B vitamins to improve the texture of their hair and skin and nails, and it really makes sense because we are what we eat, as what we eat is the building blocks for our bodies.
Personally, I've experienced some hair loss postpartum.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I would suggest, upping your protein intake for a while and seeing if that makes a difference.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we already touched on the fact that you can't lose weight, and that many people think the opposite, that if they eat less, that they'll lose more weight. But there comes to a point when your body says, hold up, I'm just gonna drop my metabolism very low because I don't know where my next meal is coming from. They'll hold on to those extra pounds. But when you start eating more, you burn more, especially if you're lifting weights. It's really important to build muscle. So pretty amazing, exciting, and a lot of fun because you're eating more and you're getting into shape.
That's a program I can subscribe to.
Okay, brain fog, mental confusion, forgetfulness, and spaciness are all signs of low blood sugar from not eating enough calories.
It's easy for me to lose track of how much I've eaten in a busy workday, but once I have that brain fog, it kind of tips me off.
Good, I'm glad you're alert to that. Excellent. And then finally, irritability, feeling mad, short fuse. You may have heard of the term hangry.
Mm-hmm.
So those are symptoms of low blood sugar. Again, you're just not happy, you need to get food in you. You might not even know that you're hungry. You might not be able to make a decision. All of those are symptoms of low blood sugar.
I'll have to warn my husband about that hangry one.
All right, so what are some signs that you are eating enough? You asked this question earlier, like how do I know if I'm eating enough and I don't want to gain weight, etc. So you're gonna feel good, you're gonna feel calm, more even keeled, satisfied, satiated. You kind of just flow along with life, you know? No big mood swings.
It's gonna be really helpful to know what to look for.
Sure. The other thing I want to point out is drinking enough water goes along with eating enough food. So it's recommended to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 150 pounds, that's 75 ounces of water each day. Now, if you've been told by your doctor to limit your water consumption, then definitely follow your doctor's advice. But most of us don't need to worry about that, so drink up.
One way I try to make sure I have enough water is drinking it first thing in the morning.
Excellent. I hear that's a great detox for the body as well. Some other ways for you to get more water in the day are to have water with meals. So each time you sit down for a meal or have lunch on the go, have some water with that meal. Also having it first thing in the morning, as Melissa mentioned, and then as often as you can remember throughout the day. Having a water bottle such as this where you can fill up 2 to 3 times per day and then you'll know you've hit your mark is super effective for keeping track of your water intake. This is not only going to give you a lot of energy and a little pick-me-up, but you'll feel clearer in your head, you'll reduce your risk for urinary tract infections, and you're just going to help your body to detox and get rid of the natural waste products that occur from metabolism.
The focus on eating enough is so important, especially we live in a such diet and weight conscious society. I'm really glad you have this focus on a healthy mind and healthy body.
Thank you. So make sure to focus on eating enough this month and notice how your mood begins to stabilize and your energy levels increase. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.